Welcome back to another look. Today I'd like to do a quick video about child safety. A few weeks ago, a friend of mine posted on Facebook that she had left her 4-year-old son with an adult while she went on some errands. When she came back, the son was not there. They looked around and the son was not in the house and he was not in the compound either. After a while of looking and of course a lot of worry and concern, someone from the boy's school called my friend, the mother of the missing boy, and said, "Are you so and so? Your son has been found at such and such a place. Please call this number and get your son." So she called that person, and indeed the son was with some stranger, and she eventually was reconciled with the son. Now, what had happened was, first of all, the adult who had been left to take care of the boy had gone to the shop and left the boy in the house watching TV. Of course, that is not a good idea. Then the boy decided to follow this adult to the shop and he got lost. Fortunately, this 4-year-old boy knew the name of his school and he knew the name of his mother. So he told whoever it is that found him that my school is this and that. So that person called the school and the school called my friend and they got together. Something a bit similar happened to me actually. There's a time I was in the house with my son. He was playing outside and I told him I wanted to go to the shop, but I decided not to go for some reason or other. So I stayed in the house. I was doing some work in the house while he was playing outside. Then after a while I realized I could not hear him anymore playing outside. So I got out and he was not there. Those days he used to go to a certain neighbor's house. So I looked at the front of that neighbor's house, and my son's shoes were not there. So I figured he must have gotten out of the compound. So I got out and I met our caretaker bringing him back, saying he had found him going towards the shops. Apparently he had gone to look for me. He thought I had left and he had gone to look for me. So there are a number of lessons we should learn from these incidents. Number one, depending on the age of your child, and how much he can understand, your child should know your name, the name of his parents, the mother's name and the father's name, and not just mommy or daddy, your actual name. And if possible, depending on how complicated it is, where you live, the name of the place you live or the name of your estate at least. Or if possible, or the name of his school, as was the case in my friend's case. The child knew the name of their school, so the person got in touch, somehow found the contacts of the school and called the head of the school. And the head of the school, of course, called the parent. So if they can know the name of their school, or if near where you live there's a prominent landmark, if you live near a church, maybe you live near St. Luke's or St. Peter's, or you live near a police station or near a post office, then if your child can grasp that, then tell them that, so that if they're lost, they can say, "We live near the post office," or "We live near the police station," or "We live near St. Mark's Church." That is point number one. Your child should know some information that can help someone get them to you. Number two, prevention is better than cure. We told our son after he got out of our compound that he should not get out of the compound without an adult. He should not get out of our compound by himself. There was a case a while back on the internet of a child who got out of their house, their apartment. They lived in an apartment. The child got out of the apartment at night and got out into the street in the winter, and unfortunately that child froze to death. So you should tell your child, do not get out of the house, or do not get out of the compound, or do not get out of the apartment block without an adult. And point number three, you might want to tell your child which adult they can get out of the compound with or get out of the house with. Maybe yourself, the mother or the father, or the caregiver, if you allow that. Some people do not allow their caregiver to get out of the compound with the child, because in some cases the caregivers abduct the children and disappear with them. So tell them you can get out with mommy or with daddy, or you can get out with auntie, as we call them. You can get out with your nanny if your mother or your father allows it. Be specific and clear about that. Otherwise, tell them not to get out of the compound. Similarly, if they're playing football outside and the ball gets out of the compound, tell them do not go and get it. Do not climb over the fence to go and get it. Tell an adult to go and get it for you. Of course, this is to eliminate the issue of not just the child getting kidnapped, even the issue of traffic. Like in our case, when our child got out of the compound, The concern was that there's a lot of traffic that passes outside our compound here. The child could have been hit by a lorry, by these lorries that carry water, for example, or motorbikes. There's so many motorbikes that pass around here. So you don't want that. You don't want your child to get out of the compound in the first place. You don't want your child to get out of the compound because they're going to look for their ball. So tell them, if your ball gets out while you're playing, go and get an adult to get it for you. Similar to the issue of getting out of the compound only with designated people, tell your child, do not go anywhere with a stranger. If there's someone who you do not know and they're telling you, come, I go and give you some sweets or I go and give you some food, do not go with them. Do not go with someone who you do not know unless your parent has approved it. Tell your child that. Of course, how you'll phrase this will depend on how much your child can understand. Hopefully, you do know how much your child can understand. If you go to a place like a supermarket or to the showground and your child for some reason gets lost, they let go of your hand, or they are distracted by something, or you are distracted by something and they get lost, tell them, please stay where you are until I come and find you. If it's a place where you can find each other, tell your child, please stay where you are until I come and find you. For the reason, of course, that if you start looking for your child and your child starts looking for you, you might keep missing each other as you keep walking round and round. You might be quite near each other, but you keep missing each other because both of you are moving. So tell your child to stay at a particular place, to stay where they are until you find them, sorry. Or you can tell them, if you're in a supermarket, tell them to go to the cashier and you'll come and find them there. Or they could make an announcement over the sound system that they have in supermarkets. So tell them either to stay where they are or to go to a designated identifiable place like a cashier. Point number 5. Tell your child that if a stranger tries to carry them away, they should scream out loud and yell, make noise. Tell them not to be embarrassed about it. In fact, you should practice with them so that if the time comes, hopefully it does not come, but if it happens to come that someone tries to snatch them and run away with them, they should scream and yell and fight. Practice with them how they should scream loudly, as loud as possible. Children can have a very piercing and annoying scream or cry when they want something. That scream is the one that you want. Rehearse it with them so that if it happens, they will actually scream. The stranger trying to abduct your child, of course, will be embarrassed by this and it will draw the attention of others. So most likely they will put them down and decide to run away themselves instead. So tell your child to scream and rehearse it with them. What other tips do you have for child safety? What tips have you told your child? What tips were you told when you were a child? Share with us in the comments. Thank you for watching.